Now at 6:30, we're live across the state of Texas tracking this Arctic blast from icy roads in Dallas and the Hill Country to problems at our airports and highways here in Houston. We're watching it all.
Take a look at all the issues we've had over the last 12 hours. Crashes on the west side and the east side. Freeways shut down near Sugar Land and several crashes on 290. A lot going on. Good Friday morning to you, Houston. Welcome to KHOU 11 Morning News. I'm Stephanie Simmons.
I'm Dave Freilich.
And I'm Kimberly Davis. It is a very busy morning covering all things weather.
Yeah, live team coverage. Jennifer Reyna, Kim Castro, and Cheetah Craft all here this morning. And as we approach 6:31, Cheetah, we will kick it off with you.
Oh, well, guys, we are starting off with wind chill temperatures area wide in the teens. I just want to prepare you here. It doesn't matter where you're waking up this morning. Tomball, 14 degrees, feels like 17 in Sugar Land. Check out Galveston. You're currently feeling 20. College Station, you're down to 12. Similar there for you, Brenham. Not out of the question those temperatures will drop maybe just a couple more degrees before all is said and done. The good news, all right, the radar this morning, we are actually quieting things down. Notice all the moisture is offshore and to our east. So we're not talking about anything new that's going to fall this morning, any new additional precip, with the only area from Bay Harbor, Jamaica Beach, Galveston this morning, because temperatures, the actual temperatures in Galveston are right around 33. Kim, it'll be kind of quite the puzzle if that tries to transition to freezing rain, but that really is about it. Check out your afternoon. I know you're going to talk about how long we stay this cold. It is going to be a frigid day ahead.
Yes, for current temperatures, for futurecast temperatures, and for feels like temperatures. In fact, it won't be until the noon hour that we see these warnings expire. First, we've got this hard freeze warning. That's talking about the actual temperatures dipping down to 21 degrees. When we talk about the wind mixing in with this very cold air, it could feel as cold as 5 degrees, especially in our northern and western counties. That's until the noon hour. So this is how the models are kind of developing that. We'll see the teens until about 8:30 this morning, single digits potentially for our far western counties. And then we start to finally break into the 20s, still teens for College Station and Brenham. That's 11:30 this morning. This afternoon, we'll see that sunshine and that'll start to warm us up ever so slightly, but still getting close to that freezing mark, at least feeling like it. J. Ray?
I know, it's so cold, bitterly cold. All right, as far as traffic, we are still asking that you stay put until later on this morning, until the noon hour, but I know folks have really gotten out there because they have some place to be. They have to head to work and they don't have another choice. So a wreck to avoid, 45 headed southbound at Broadway. Some action down there. Left lanes are blocked. If you're an inbound commuter, you have no problems from Galveston County getting into Houston. Just slow your speeds on bridges just like this. South Beltway at 288. These elevated portions are what we are still concerned with. If you can stick to the surface level or ground here closer to the ground, areas closer to the ground, you'd be much better off. That's your latest in traffic. Over to you.
All right, Jen, thanks. Right now we have a long list of school closures scrolling at the bottom of the screen.
Houston, Katy, Cy-Fair, and Fort Bend ISD are just some of the biggest to cancel classes today. But more than 100 districts across the area have also canceled classes. Several colleges also in the mix this morning, including U of H, Rice, Houston Baptist University, just to name a few. You can find that full list on KHOU.com.
And at 6:33, we are continuing to keep our eyes on the power grid as many people crank up the heat to stay warm. Take a look at this real-time data from ERCOT. The thin purple line represents the amount of power available right now. The teal line is the amount being used. If those lines cross, that could mean blackouts, but we just spoke with our KHOU 11 energy expert, and he says the grid is in good shape right now. In fact, there are fewer power outages in the state right now compared to the same time this time yesterday morning.
And as we wait for those coldest of temperatures to hit our area, our team is staying on top of everything you need to know about this winter weather all around the state. We continue our team coverage now with crews in Cypress, Katy, San Antonio, and Kerrville. Before we get to them, we want to head to East Harris County. Michelle Choi is live with some breaking news, a big problem involving a water tower. Michelle, what do you have?
Yeah, Dave, you know, these freezing temps aren't just causing major issues on our roadways, but it's also causing problems for some major pipes, including one connected to this water tower here in Channelview. Now, I'm happy to report just seconds ago that water just got shut off. So, but you can still see just how flooded this whole area was. But I can tell you that there was a pipe where water was just gushing out from it. Now, Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez tweeted out moments ago that they've been getting flooded with calls from concerned residents residents living in this area. However, it doesn't appear that the water is flooding any major roads, including Sheldon. It is, however, as you can see, flooding the fields surrounding the tower, and the ditches next to it are also quickly filling up. Enough so that if this water had not been shut off, it could have started flooding the roadway. Now, no word yet around what time this initially started and when this pipe bursted, but the sheriff believes that the residents say that the cold weather has definitely something to do with it. Back to you.
All right, Michelle Choi, thanks. We want to head now from the east side to northwest Harris County. Agochi Aloka is live along 290, checking out the conditions there. Morning, Agochi.
Hey, good morning, Dave. We are live off of Highway 99, just 1 mile south of 290, where it is cold and windy this morning. And we're going to show you the sign here just to show you what the winter conditions are looking like. You can see the sign is completely iced over, just to give you an idea. Now, this area really served as a problematic spot yesterday for drivers. A few reports of accidents here just yesterday. Now, as of this morning, you can see that drivers have really been listening to officials' a message loud and clear about not getting on the roadways due to slick spots. Now, I recorded this cell phone video while our photojournalist Mark was driving earlier this morning. You can see the overpass here appears to be cleared, but don't be fooled. There are a few small icy patches we spotted, so drivers should still take it slow. Crews were also seen de-icing Highway 290 last night, which is why it isn't completely frozen over this morning. And we want to have you check out this sign here reminding drivers to reduce the speeds, especially in this area where we know that bridges as well as the overpasses can be a pain because they tend to freeze over first. But of course, we are happy to report this morning, Kimberly and Steph, that of course it's in a good condition, but drivers should still take it slow just in case they run into any icy patches they don't see.
For sure. Good advice. Ugochi Loka live for us in Cypress this morning. Thank you. And our entire team has been chasing those trouble spots to keep you and your family safe.
So let's continue our team coverage this morning about 20 miles south of Cypress to Katy. That's where we find our David Gonzalez live this morning. David, okay, we know temps in the 20s there right now, but what's it actually feeling like?
It feels a lot colder, Stephanie and Kimberly. The drive from the Galleria here to Katy wasn't that bad this morning, other than a few water patches. But I kind of want to give you guys a better idea where we set up. We're here near the Grand Parkway and Katy Freeway, and this is all ice that has formed here on this elevated structure. It's a parking garage next to the Grand Parkway, but we may have dodged an icy bullet. This is a Grand Parkway, and it appears to be running as normal this morning. The fear was that ice would accumulate on roadways like these giant flyovers, which would have made driving treacherous. Temperatures are below freezing this morning, so that there still may be some small patches of ice on the road. TxDOT crews treated areas west and north of the city yesterday as a precaution. Crews focused on elevated structures like bridges and overpasses. But the good news this morning is that traffic appears to be flowing like normal. And the good news as well is that traffic seems to be lighter than normal as well. That means people are heeding our warnings and staying home. But as we've mentioned all morning long, it is super cold outside. Back to you.
Definitely is. David Gonzalez and Katy this morning. David, thank you. Now, the traffic situation here, of course, nothing compared to what they're dealing with out to our west in Kerrville. Some people have been stuck in their cars on I-10 now for hours. Reporter Jeremy Baker with our sister station in San Antonio has more on what led to this situation.
I'm Jeremy Baker in Kerrville near San Antonio. All that sleet that fell yesterday turned into slush and then ice on the highway. And take a look at what's behind me. This is I-10 and it is a mess at Sidney Baker Street here in Kerrville. You can see that line of cars stretching for miles sporadically from Junction to Comfort in both directions. That's roughly 50 to 60 miles. It begins at mile marker 502, which is further west on I-10. Right now, we don't know about how many injuries or if there may be any fatalities. Officers tell me that it began with several semis that were jackknifed, and as they were trying to get some of the vehicles turned around, more accidents happened, and it became a nightmare of a scene. I'm told they're trying to get the cars and trucks turned around to go in the right direction to clear this bottleneck up. Again, they're not expecting this to clear up until the mid to late morning hours, once the sun gets up and we get closer to freezing. Back to you.
Thank you so much. And across the country, the winter storm crippled air travel, with airports in Dallas seeing the most flight delays and cancellations.
And we're expecting more planes to be grounded yet again today.
Here's a look at the FlightAware Misery map, tracking updates in real time this morning. So far, we are seeing several dozen flight delays or cancellations at Bush and Hobby airports. Dallas still tops the list today with more than 300. And at 6:40 yesterday, maintenance teams at Bush treated overpasses around the terminals with a de-icing chemical. Airport officials say some planes were also de-iced.
Right now, the overpass leading to Hobby Airport is currently shut down. So if you're picking up someone or maybe flying out, use Airport Boulevard to get in. And be sure to check your flight status before you leave the house. All right, time now is exactly 6:41. That means it's time for weather and traffic on the ones. Sheeta, get us updated.
Hey, well, you know, when we're talking about some of those elevated surfaces, like you were just talking about the overpass or maybe some of those bridges this morning, that's because temperatures were cold enough to support some of that ice last night. And because temperatures are still below freezing, it's that patchy ice on those elevated surfaces. But throughout the morning, up until about lunchtime, when our temperatures continue to climb, we're going to continue to monitor that. At this point, though, as temperatures are still below the freezing point, I would still say, especially north and west of town, keep that in mind. 21 in Dallas, 1 in Amarillo, 1 in Lubbock. It is just cold, bitterly cold across the state. But the good news is we're not talking about any new precipitation. So, Jen, anything that was left on the roadways, but we were just talking off camera. The good thing is we did hit that 70-degree mark 2 days ago. So the surfaces are still fairly warm, kind of area wide.
Yeah, good news for
that
us
is good.
because it took longer for it to really create some sort of problem and freeze over. Exactly. I-45 Gulf Freeway, this is a problem southbound direction at Broadway. No word on what it's due to, but we do know that multiple emergency crews are obviously on scene. So if you're headed out toward Galveston County, you will experience those slight delays. Otherwise, you can see we're in good shape. Sugar Land reopened. I-69, I-59 down in the Sugar Land area after a multi-car crash from last night, but a lot of the areas here in town have reopened. Just slow your speeds over bridges. Over to you.
Always important to note. Jennifer, thank you.